Welcome to the VWell Podcast, real conversations with our experts about our mission to revolutionize wellness in body, mind, and soul. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to this episode of the VWell Expert Podcast. I'm delighted to have my friend Annette O'Neill as our guest today, who is an amazing wellness expert. So welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Edward, and thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
So let's just start by asking you, what wellness modalities do you share?
So I do wear multiple hats. I am a licensed and registered dietitian nutritionist, which means I have a master's degree and I have studied clinically nutrition, but I have a private practice. I also am a fitness expert. I teach classes, mainly barre, functional training kind of classes, and yoga. So I am a yoga teacher as well, meditation. So I sort of, wrap that all into my wellness approach.
I love that. I love that you have these different disciplines that are completely separate but also overlap. So how did that happen? What was your personal journey into all of these aspects of wellness?
So it started with exercise, I guess, and physical activity. So for me, I was always curious, and even like back in the day, I remember right before going to college, talking about being a nutritionist. It wasn't even like a thing back then, so I don't even know where it came from. But I segued into business and English, and then worked my way back to nutrition later. But the sciences came later. But exercise would have been what brought me into it. I was a runner. I ran road races as a kid. I rode my bicycle everywhere. I played tennis. So the exercise component was there, but I was always curious and self-studied my nutrition. So when I was doing that, people started asking me, like, what do you do? What do you do? Can you help me? And I felt like I wasn't trained in that arena professionally. So how can I know what I do? So that's when I went back to school for my nutrition degree, and I went to NYU, and I did the hard program and did an internship at NYU Medical Center, and so then I felt qualified in that arena. Yoga always whispered to me, yoga, little breadcrumbs here and there, and I kept following them. It was like in my life, but not in my life. And then eventually I brought it in and embraced it and got curious there. And I have to say that helps my counseling. It helps me with my life and managing my approach to life. But it really does help me, and I think it makes me a better nutritionist as well as fitness, just to have the yoga piece as well.
And you also do barre as well. So, first of all, not everyone knows what barre is. So, I always ask people to define in case it's unclear. So, what is barre, and how did you become involved with barre?
So barre exercise wasn't actually called barre back in the day when it first started, even before my time. It was a dance inspired, so it was movements that a dancer, if she was injured, can still do. So it was inspired that way, but then it kind of segued into the population and it became trendy. So it is something that you use your own body weight. It is very lengthening in muscle, but toning in muscle. There's a flexibility component, and you do use a barre for balance, but you don't have to have a dance background. That's how it all started, and I was trained at Exhale Spa here in New York, and they were the pioneers. They're the ones who started it all. Fred and Elizabeth, who I adore, very inspirational in my life, and giving me this chance. But then barre has segued into not using a barre. So I do a lot of my classes here on Zoom, and you can have a chair, a sturdy chair, just something for balance. But mine have segued, I call it beyond barre now, actually, because it is more functional training, because we do need strong bones and muscles. So as part of the whole wellness piece, I've incorporated heavier weights and more functional muscles we need to function in life and to stay strong. So that's sort of like how my barre has segued into functional training beyond barre. Yeah.
Well, I love that the modalities, and you've spoken about this, that there's intersection, and you've created your own unique path. Do you have more to say about like how is what you do influence like become uniquely yours?
So yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people do one thing and do it super well. I don't know. I feel I can handle this because they do interconnect. There are people who come to me for nutrition, will never exercise with me, will never practice yoga with me because they have their own thing going there. So I do cover that in my nutrition counseling. As long as they have something that motivates them, that's a component that they need. So there are people who have been exercising with me for years. I used to have a studio. Now I work pretty much completely, well, I work from home, but I also work for other companies that give me gigs of presenting nutrition programs at corporations and things like that. But sometimes people see me for everything, sometimes they don't. So that's one thing. But yogic philosophy comes into my nutrition counseling big time. My meditation big time. There's an overlap of yogic mindset in my bar exercises as well. So it's just, yeah, I mean, it could be all connected or it could be separate, but I, as the person serving you, will pull in all my knowledge.
Hmm.
So I basically, I guess I can share this with you now. I have this acronym that I've developed and it's called Go Wellness. And the Go Wellness stands for everything you need to be practicing a healthy lifestyle. And it's not only about nutrition and exercise because it's so much of a lifestyle. So basically, I'm going to go through them really fast. Go, G. G is for gratitude, seeing life through a focus of a gratitude lens. O, others, connectivity. We need to be with others. All the longevity studies of people who live long always have that powerful connection of a purpose and community. So G-O, gratitude, others. W, water, hydration, critical. We're 70% water. We need water. E, exercise, not only cardiovascular, but also resistance training and flexibility training and balance and all of that. So we got W, E, L, L. The two L's are for learning and love. Love is compassion. Love is empathy for self and others. It's putting yourself out there, making yourself vulnerable. That's what learning is all about. And practicing forgiveness and all of these components of gratitude. That's the double L's. N is nature, spend time in nature. We need to interact with the microorganisms in nature. We need to be in nature as well. So carving out time for that. E is for eating a plant forward diet, not necessarily eliminating animal foods, but a plant forward diet. All we know about gut health, all we know about just the importance of the compounds in plant foods. So it's sort of like that's the nutrition piece of it. And then the final two S's are stress management. We're not going to get rid of stress, but we have to know how to manage it. And sleep. Sleep is such an important component of how we recover and repair from everyday stresses in life, from toxins. It's just sleep is paramount. And the type of sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep, hours of sleep. Like we really, we're learning so much more, and the more we learn, the more I have a role to play and a passion to fulfill.
I love that. I love the comprehensive view of all of that, and it represents so much of the interdisciplinary whole picture that you serve with someone. Was there a moment in your life when you realized like this is my path? This is what I'm here to do, or I'm going to commit myself to wellness?
It sort of grew like over time. I think always fascinated with the physical activity component and the exercise and wanting to know more. It was important to me personally, right? But I always wanted more information. So I would say way back, I knew this was going to be my field. Did I know I was going to then become a licensed and registered dietitian or bring yoga into it or where I'd be working? No, I didn't have a vision, but I do think my personality working for myself in a sense and being more of an outside consultant with like Exhale and this other company, Culture Fit, and making relationships with you here at VWell. I've made relationships with another organization called Faye Nutrition. So there's always like my own practice, my own business, but I'm also connected, which I think it just segued. It really did. It grew with the overall initial intention to be about wellness,
Yeah.
lifestyle, health. Yeah.
Is there, and you may have answered this already, but is there any kind of wellness practice which has been the most consistent or the through line for you, something that's sort of always been there or that you draw on the most?
Simply because the exercise component came in first. And a lot of people do, even like what I find with some people who practice yoga with me, they never considered yoga. Yoga was like always foreign. I'm not flexible. I can't do it, and it's like, well, come in for the physical. Come in for the physical, and then you're going to get so much more, as you know, as well. Like yoga offers so much more than just being able to do a pose. It's more about being present and the benefits of that. So I would say that brought me to it. So it's been there the longest. The fascination with nutrition has grown because now I know the whys, and I understand the complexity of this ecosystem, which is our body and our gut health, and all that's involved with being a healthy person. Is so the nutrition is so powerful, and like I said, yogic lifestyle, and just kind of like is the blanket that just sort of like is involved in the whole thing. So yeah, I guess the first was exercise, but obviously I probably would have been doing something else with that at this point if I didn't segue into nutrition and yoga.
Yeah. Is there, and no judgments attached, but any wellness modality or practice you've tried and that has just not been for you? Something that you're like, I don't, it's just not my thing.
Did you mean teaching it, or being the
Well,
professional, or just trying?
anything. Some people have been. Some people have even shifted. Like I used to run, but now I just don't. Or people like I've never really understood why anyone would want to lift a weight.
Oh yeah, well I know the importance of lifting weights, but as far as that goes, it would more be an activity. Like I love running. I loved running races. I don't do that anymore because I just didn't see the need for it. So the more research I did, the pounding of the pavement for long periods of time, I segued that into, more interval training is better for our health. So I guess I'm driven by what's good for our physical body and our
Mm.
mental well-being. So what doesn't resonate would probably be something that was maybe fear-based, my fear of heights. So while I've tried skiing a number of times and I have taken lessons, skiing now is like, you know what, I don't care. Like, I really know I'm not going to do that, and I, even up to last year, I went on a trip with some friends and I took another lesson, and I'm like, you know what, I can just go on a hike, I can go practice yoga, and I'm like, I'm good, So I would say that that would be the physical activity that I have no need to do. That and bungee jumping or something like that. Like I'm not going to do that. My fear of heights would not let me do
I'd love that.
that.
It's very fun. If you were stranded on a desert island, the classic example, and you could take one wellness piece of equipment or prop or something, what would you bring with you?
I like that question. I really do. Okay, so since I, in my body, can go in a closet and work out and also be in a closet and practice yoga, I know I can maintain the physicality of my fitness, my muscles, my flexibility, all of that stuff. So what I would want to be able to do is my skills of survival for nutrition. Like if I'm on this desert island, how am I going to survive? Am I going to be able to fish? Am I going to be able to know which fruits I can eat and what plants I can pick and eat? So that would be the basic survival piece that I would need on that island, would be my nutrition skills.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's sort of with the word in quotes, but what's one wellness in quotes rule that you love breaking? What's one thing that people, and it may not be universally said, but like people say, do it this way, but you like doing it the other way or a different way?
Hmm. So when you first said rule, I thought you meant like being like naughty, breaking a wellness rule. But I don't do think like, the way I teach people. I would say a rule that I break in the naughty department would be I know the importance of sleep and it's so important to me. And I do get to bed early and wake up. I honor my circadian rhythm. But there are times I'm social and I'm having fun and I stay up late. So that would be a rule that I'm breaking that,
Mm.
I'm at this party and I'm going to just enjoy myself and then I'll catch up on my sleep. But sleep is so important. But as far as the way I approach my professionalism and my services, there's no real rule breaking. I feel there is no, everything that I do professionally is sort of like open to me having freedom within it of how I approach it. So, yeah,
Yeah. No, and I think that that example is a good example of, your you know and believe deeply in sleep, but you're willing to break that rule because of living a full life sometimes.
exactly. Yes.
It's
Yep.
great. Um,
That's the others component of the Go Wellness, right? Like the importance of connectivity is outweighing and there's always a balance to the Go Wellness acronym. Like one's going to be out of whack, the other one, and then you just sort of try to get them into balance. They're never going to be perfect.
what's the best compliment you've ever received for your work?
Hmm. For my work. So there's nothing better than hearing someone say to me, like, you changed my life, or years like will go by and I haven't seen someone and I'll see them and they'll say, there's something that you said or you told me or you suggested and I live with it today. Like I still hear your voice and it did this for me. So there's like a giving nature in me. And so when I get the feedback that it's working, it makes me want to do more and give more. So it would probably be related to my impact on my clients and the sustainability of it. Everybody can do something for a couple of days or, a couple of weeks, as far as their wellness goes. But if something stayed with them and really had an impact. So maybe that's it. Like, yeah.
Now, that's very, very deep and true. Um, is there?
That's the Scorpio in me. That's the
Yeah,
Scorpio in me,
I love
moving
that.
the deep.
When is your birthday? Is it coming up right now, or we're?
It just happened November 4th, so I'm a real true
Oh,
Scorpio.
well, happy belated birthday. I love
Thank
that.
you.
Um, is there a phrase or a word or something that either you feel you say all the time teaching or people associate with you? Not necessarily a bad thing, but like a catchphrase or like people are like that's so Annette. Like what is there something there?
Oh, definitely. It is funny. This is another thing I had, from sometimes when I'm at parties or whatnot, people will say that they talk about, especially if I'm in a community where the people know each other, what would Annette say and da 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 da, what would Annette da da. So they do that amongst themselves, my clients. But the one thing that I do feel I've carried through, and I still do, I express to all my clients better than nothings. Now, I call them better than nothings. And what that means is it's better to do 5 or 10 minutes of exercise or a walk or, a small percentage of eating better or whatever they're doing than to do nothing at all. Don't wait till you have 45 minutes. Don't wait till you have an hour. Don't wait till you can get to the grocery store. Don't wait till you lose weight to go to the gym. What do a better than nothing right now because what you're doing right now matters for the big goal. So better than nothings. Anybody that has worked with me knows what that means. Yeah.
I love that. If you weren't in this wellness world, is there an alternative career, alternative life that you can imagine you'd have?
I can't imagine.
Mm.
I honestly can't. No. What would I be doing? I really don't know. I would probably maybe be writing or something. I mean, I'm doing it. Like I would rather, if I had more time, I would rather be writing as well. I would like to be doing more research as well, but it would all be related to this, I think.
Mm, I love that's great. Um, What's one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self on this wellness journey, like that you wish you knew back then that you now know for sure now?
Mhm. First of all, I'd say, Annette, you're okay. You're better than okay. But yeah, advice I would have given younger me. So I did take a lot of chances and I did make myself vulnerable. So I'm very proud of that. But it angsted me a lot when I made mistakes or didn't do well or failed but I know now that that was how I learned and grew. And what I'm proud of is that I kept going. Like I kept doing it even when starting my own businesses and just putting myself out there. So I would tell myself, yep, just relax. You're doing it. This is the win. The win is the lesson that you learned. The win is that you put yourself out there and then you do get better. You do get more confident. You do learn more and grow more resilient. So, yeah, I would just tell her she's doing it, not to doubt it. So, yeah,
Mm. What's the biggest misconception people have about wellness or any specific practice or in general?
I think that's a really good question. Biggest misconception is they think it's too big. They make it too big. They make it about the goal of whatever, losing weight, of being this or doing that. And sort of like the big goal is out here and it's this big. So what can you do right in this moment? What can you do right now that's going to lead you to that goal? And it could be something super small. It could even be a mindset. It could be drink a glass of water. So it's always the setting the too big goal, and making it too out of reach. It's not. You can go for a walk. Like honestly, there are times I tell a client or suggest to a client who's never exercised, really cannot do it for whatever reason, it's not happening. They spend money on gyms and whatnot. And then it's like, just go, first of all, buy yourself a pair of nice sneakers and then don't even worry about it. Just put them right there where you can see them. And then maybe wear them around the house. And then maybe just step out your door and go in your yard or around the block. I'm in New York City, so there is no yard, but you go take a walk around the block. And like just start with those better than nothing. So it's like they think it's overwhelming. And I think the problem today is people think it can be bought.
Mm.
So you can buy it in a pill or a supplement or a drink or a specific trendy exercise. It's like you've got everything right here, like right in your power. So you don't need to really be buying too much because it's packaged in food. Your body can move, you can walk, you can do squats, you can do push-ups. Like there's ways of doing everything with your own body. So yeah, they make it too confusing, and they're confused because of social media too. Everybody's selling something
Mm.
and they're selling something that's packaged in food or that you can do on. So yeah, so the biggest misconception is that it's out of reach.
Mm. I've been eager to ask you this as a nutritionist question, but what's your favorite healthy food?
Hmm. So my favorite healthy food, I wouldn't have one favorite. It would just be plants, plant forward,
Mm.
plants. It would
Right?
be plants. And plants are actually encompass nuts and seeds and whole grains and beans and legumes as well as vegetables and fruits. So people always think of plants as just veggies. So it is plant foods. I love them. They're powerful for gut health. They're powerful for your immune system, overall, vitamins and minerals. So yeah, that would be plants.
And then in quotes, unhealthy. What's your favorite unhealthy snack or indulgence?
Okay, so indulgence. So obviously, let's see, as far as food goes or
Mhm.
treat, it would be
Food, yeah.
chocolate chip cookies, and probably wine, which I drink a lot less of, but red wine, like a glass of red wine with dinner. Those are two indulgences that I wouldn't want to get out of hand.
Where do you see, and since you've been teaching and sharing, wellness has shifted, and where do you see it heading?
Hmm. So interesting. Some of it, the shifts are repeating themselves. Do you know what I mean? If you kind
Hmm.
of follow them long enough. which is very interesting to see it. Just for a quick little example, there are only 3 macronutrients that we get energy, vitamins, and minerals from, right? We heard of protein, fats, and carbs. And then there was a time when everybody was no fat, no fat, no fat, back, well, I don't know, 70s, 80s. And then what happened was fake fats were made, right? Then there was no carbs, no carbs, no carbs. Then fake sugars were made. So now we have all these artificial ingredients that are like so bizarrely unhealthy. And it's swinging back to, okay, let's eat more natural foods. But there's only 3 of these macronutrients. So how could we be restricting another one? But now we're all protein, 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 which yes, we do need more protein. Sometimes some people aren't getting enough, but it's not just everyone should eat more protein. But that's the current trend right now. It's like everywhere you look, people are talking protein. But as a nutritionist, it's not just about protein, you know? So it is, so I think those trends will keep happening in cycling. Hopefully we're in a trend of prevention, where we are looking at what we can do within our power for our health and wellness to prevent whether our gene expression that's, you know, held against us because we, you know, something that we carry doesn't get activated. So it's more of, you know, that kind of thing, like where prevention, what's in our power, what we can eat and do to feel great as we, you know, go on our journey. It's limited time, so we want to feel good as long as we can.
What is the impact that you want your work to have, or what gets you out of bed in the morning and excited about working with clients?
So I love, you know, obviously practicing what I preach as well, even though sometimes it's hard. What gets me out of bed is just what, like I said before, when I can have an impact on someone's life, when they can make connections, and I'm facilitating that connection. And so I think about my clients probably a little too much. I've got to, you know, sometimes I've got to Annette, you know, you're going to see her tomorrow, or you're going to see him next week, like, and don't worry, they're going to be fine. But yeah, my clients, I just like making an impact, having reaching them, and then they're able to do themselves. Empowering, maybe.
Yeah, no, that absolutely. You were because I knew you before VWell, one of the people I reached out to right away, and you were very responsive. So what about VWell and our mission and what we're doing attracted you to become one of our founding experts?
Well, Edward, obviously you, first of all, because like you said, you actually were already an established yoga teacher when I came into my yoga training. So I do feel like you inspired me. So I trusted you, you know, I trust you. So when you asked me, I'm like, sure, like you gave me a little information. I always do my little research, but then it's like, yes, I'm on board. So the main push was, you know, you, but I do like the idea of, you know, a go-to place, since a lot of what I do is online now, and a lot of people are more willing to sign up, especially for nutrition counseling, when, you know, they don't have to get up and go to you, you know, like I can reach more people from, you know, near and far. Right now I have clients from India. One was living in Croatia. I live in New York, but I have clients in Connecticut and California. So it's like, it's a vaster reach. So I do like that component too. And just being able to reach more people. So yeah, and I you know, I trust your creative side as well. You as a writer, and you as you know, a venture into new businesses type thing. So yeah, so that's what kind of brought me to it.
Well, we are absolutely delighted to have you to be one of our founding experts, to share all of your modalities and your unique vision. So thank you so much for sharing this, and check out Annette O'Neill on our website and the many things she's offering.
Thank you, Edward. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for joining us on the VWell podcast. If you enjoyed this conversation, please share it, subscribe, and stay connected at vwellnow.com. See you next time.